Guess what? Guess what? You'll never guess. Guess what, guys? I'm talking about Castlevania 3 again. I'm back home. I'm back where I belong. Although this is not quite Castlevania 3. It may look like Castlevania 3, but in reality it is another game entirely. It is Akumajou Densetsu. Demon Castle Legend. Legend of Demon Castle? Something like that. The Japanese version of Castlevania 3. The mythical Japanese version that I talked about probably 50,000 times throughout my original Castlevania 3 commentary videos. And that I talked about, oh, this is different from the Japanese version, this is different from the Japanese version, this is like the Japanese version, blah blah blah. Well, here's the Japanese version. I sort of decided to do this on a whim. I finished Kid Dracula. I was all fired up to play Simon's Quest, and I thought, you know what? If I'm going to be playing an NES Castlevania game again, maybe I should, like, get myself used to NES Castlevania controls again, and get back in that groove, get back in that mindset. Maybe I should go back and do some things that I always wanted to do, but never quite got around to doing. And that included playing the Japanese version of Castlevania 3. And what is this? What is this? Medusa heads on hard mode? Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing? I'm seeing Medusa heads on Castlevania 3 hard mode. Could it be? Could it be that there are no RNG skulls in the Japanese version of Castlevania 3? Yes, it could be. The RNG skulls are an original American invention. One of the few things that America has not stolen from another culture. And do you see that? Do you see how much damage I just took? I just took 3 damage on hard mode. On Castlevania 3 hard mode, I just took 3 damage from a Medusa head. So this is, I mean, might as well be a completely different fucking game. In all seriousness, oh, you'll also notice that the zombies look different. They look a little less threatening, I would say. A little more dopey, kind of like Undead Homer Simpson, I guess you could say. In all seriousness, yes, the Japanese version of Castlevania 3 is easier than the US version. Oh, what are those? What is that? Did you guys just see that? Did you see it's that little goofy thing that just jumped at me? What the hell is that? Well, the answer is that's a little demon rabbit thing. I forget what it's called, but it behaves identically to the Hunchbacks in 1 and in 3, and I do not know why that change was made. Maybe the US localizers thought American players wouldn't understand what a demon rabbit thing was. And to be fair, it is pretty strange to have an enemy that behaves exactly the same as a previous enemy in the series, but doesn't look the same. So maybe just in terms of concise conveyance, changing the rabbits to the Hunchbacks was a good idea. So this is Syfa route, hard mode. In the Japanese version of the game, using the help me code to skip to second quest does not give you 10 lives. But that doesn't matter anyway, because this is all Deathless. All these, I decided I was going to do Deathless runs for all of this. And that's because doing this on... doing this game on normal mode, Deathless, is like not... It's like pointless. I mean, did you guys see what I just saw? Did you guys just see how there were no RNG skulls? Did you see how I just took 3 damage? I'm not gonna run this game on normal. Like, that's not happening. Barring extenuating circumstances. So, turns out, so playing this game again, it was sort of like, it did take me a little bit of adjustment to kind of like get back into the groove of it, get used to like the simpler controls, but honestly, it hasn't been that long since the last time I played Castlevania 3, so it wasn't that hard for me to sort of get back where I started. And some of the changes in this game, some of the changes in the Japanese version were changes that I knew about. Like I knew that there would be rabbits. Oh, and look at this! Do you see that ghost? Do you see how fucking slow that ghost is? Can you fucking believe how slow that ghost is? That's amazing. So... yeah, and look at this, these Medusa heads on normal mode, and the slow-ass ghosts. I really had no idea just how different the Japanese version was until I played it. Another thing you will notice if you got real sharp ears is that the music is different. And that's kind of the biggest differentiating factor in terms of how the Japanese version feels different compared to the US version, is just the fact that it sounds different. Like the fact that the soundtrack has this extra little fancy what's it going on, really kind of gives it a different feel. And pay attention to the lightning projectiles also, because I'm fairly sure that the lightning is dumber in the Japanese version. I think lightning in the Japanese version has more of a tendency to sort of wander off and not hit anything important. That's definitely the case in the Dracula fight, but now I'm getting way, way, way ahead of myself. So here we are in level 3, and most of level 3 is going to be the same in JP as it is in US, with of course the exception of the funny little rabbits jumping around, and maybe some of the sprites kind of look a little bit different. I feel like some of these environments are slightly different, although it's been a while since I've seen level 3, so I could be completely fucking wrong about that. I want to say the turrets? No, they still take the same amount of hits to kill. Okay. Okay. Yeah, nothing too interesting happening quite yet. That's still the same. The random item drops to try to fuck you over. Nothing different there. I didn't take damage. I thought I took damage. I could have sworn I saw like damage on my health bar, but I guess not. So like I said, it took a little bit of adjustment to get back into the groove of this game, and there were a few things about the Japanese version of the game. I mean, it was not all sunshine and roses. There actually are a few things about the Japanese version of the game that are actually harder than the American version, or at least were harder for me, considering what I was accustomed to. And if you notice, I think these jellyfish look different. I feel like... I don't remember. I feel like they have more... They're supposed to have more, like, frames in their movement animation than that. I don't know. Something about these jellyfish doesn't look normal to me. I spent so much time looking at Castlevania 3 that if something is off, I think I would notice it. So I think the jellyfish look different, but of course they behave more or less the same. Most of the standard enemies in JP 3 in Densetsu behave more or less the same. It's really the bosses that are different in terms of their behavior and in terms of their health, and you're going to see that in a moment here with the Cyclops. I don't know if you guys quite remember what the Cyclops was like in Castlevania 3, or if you ever knew, but the Cyclops in Castlevania 3 will basically constantly charge you, and the point is to either like jump over his charge or like get to safe spots, but he's always coming at you. Cyclops in Densetsu, not so much. He has a tendency to just kind of walk around, and I don't. And yeah, so when I jump up on the platform, I'm pretty sure he immediately turns around, which is frankly bizarre for me because I'm so accustomed to him just constantly coming at me. The fact that he does this weird little like he'll like instantly react to whether or not you're attackable actually kind of makes him harder to attack, because he'll do this weird little... I mean, it wasn't hard there because I had the cross, but if I didn't have the cross, I was just trying to fight him with like the whip, then actually getting him into a position where you can hit him is actually harder. Because when you get into a good spot to whip at him safely, like up onto the higher ledge, he'll just fucking walk away from you. So... easier in theory, harder in practice. And there's a ghost. There are neither Medusa heads nor skulls in 4A. Just that ghost there instead, which is a that's a new Densetsu thing. Yeah, that ghost that just fucking ambushes you. And yeah, you'll notice there that lightning went right past that thing. I think that's a JP Castlevania 3 dumb lightning problem. And yeah, in some of the places where they had where RNG skulls were in American 3, they just put, yeah, like, okay, like all over 4B, there's just more ghosts. There's no red skeleton there, which there should be. There's an extra ghost. There's a couple of extra ghosts. I think that ghost is always there. There's no bat, you'll notice. There's no bats coming across the screen. It's just kind of a ghost party. I think another extra ghost is going to show up here in a moment. Yep. And this guy's actually kind of tough to get at, even with lightning. You kind of have to do this little run back and forth down there. But of course, lightning is lightning, and lightning just solves the game. So yeah, you'll notice how much less stressful this is than US 4B. The fact that there's no bats flying across the screen means that I can actually like walk around and not worry about what's going on. Are the ghosts? Okay, now the ghosts are faster. So the ghosts in 3 were slow, but now the ghosts are fast, I think. Yeah, that looks a fucking fast ghost. Alright, well, there you go then. That's such a bizarre change. Usually when it comes to hard modes, behavioral changes in enemies are just applied across the board. It's not usually like they're one way in the early levels and then suddenly they change in the later ones. But here, that's how it is. And there's also no bone thrower up here on the left ledge. That's also different. So overall, 4B is not the shit show that it was in US 3, but of course they had to keep the bats going across the platforms because you can't get rid of that. You can't get rid of the bats fucking with you while you're trying to do platforming. That has to stay in. But everything else that's like solvable with sub-weapons, we have to just get rid of. Let's keep this horseshit. God. And is the ghost here? Because there's usually a ghost up near that lantern right above me, but he's not there this time. There's no Schrodinger's bat. Oh no, there it is. Oh no, that's not Schrodinger's bat. Schrodinger's bat hits you while you jump across the second collection of platforms, and oh my god, are those boobs on the fucking snake archer? Holy shit, this video is gonna get censored. I'm so sorry to all the children I traumatized with this YouTube video. Well, children used to getting traumatized by YouTube because of all those MK Ultra Elsa Spider-Man videos, but I've just added to the problem now with that traumatic, those traumatic bared memories. Yeah, the Medusa in, okay, that fire tome is not usually there in the US version. That's another thing that actually fucked me up a lot in Densetsu, was that the sub-weapon... The torches that drop sub-weapons are different, so I would be just like hitting torches like carefree, and then I'd just be like, lose lightning, or lose cross, or lose a stopwatch, and it was very, very, very annoying. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, the Medusa in Densetsu has boobs, because it's a lady, but then in the US version they decided that those, the approximately 4 pixels that each made up the slight suggestion of the curves of its chest were too graphic to include in a family game called Let's All Kill Dracula's Curse. Wise decision from the localizers. Last thing you want is to expose children to 3 slightly curved pixels that vaguely suggest the shape of a woman's chest. Meanwhile, Syfa's running around, breasts protruding, without a care in the world. Talk about hypocrisy. But I guess she's a nun, so she's non-sexualized, whereas the Snake Woman obviously is because she's evil. Anyway, here we are in 4E. We're gonna come to the first Monster Mash, and the Monster Mash is so nerfed, it's ridiculous. You're gonna see here, so for one thing, the terrain is slightly different. There's a little raised platform over there, which is not present in the US version. In the US version, the raised platform is further over to the left. I don't really know... Oh, look at that! Do you see that? The mummies were shooting projectiles in straight lines. The mummies' projectiles are actually dodgeable in Densetsu. Can you fucking believe it? And here's, I don't quite know what's going on here. Okay, yeah, you'll notice that as soon as I jump onto the ledge, the Cyclops, like, instantly turns around. Although he's actually kind of behaving a little bit strangely here. He's not quite... Okay, no, I see what's happening, yeah. So when I jump down on the floor, he's walking towards me, and then when I jump back up again, he's walking away. So that's what's going on here. You just have direct, perfect control over how the Cyclops moves in Densetsu. Whereas in 3, in US 3, you have to, like, do the pacer test here. You have to run that. You guys know what the pacer test is? Maybe you guys don't. I'm talking to a bunch of Zoomers who, like, don't go to gym class anymore. They just go to, like, Fortnite class. So the pacer test was something that you did in gym class where they would make you run back and forth in the gym. And that's what you have to do in the Cyclops fight, except instead of a gym, you have to do it in the boss room. You have to like run back and forth, jump up on platforms, jump over his head, all sorts of shit. That was the US Cyclops fight, but in Densetsu, you just know exactly what he's going to do at all times, so he's kind of not really a threat. Now here we are, level 5. Level 5, I don't think level 5 is that different in Densetsu than it is in US 3. These gargoyle spawns seem about the same as US hard mode. If maybe even slightly more aggressive actually. Yeah, maybe there's one or two more gargoyles spawning here. Although I'm not 100% sure. It might just have to do with the pace that I'm taking up the stairs. I don't know. But 5, generally speaking, is not going to be that different. Yeah, I think the gargoyles are more aggressive because I feel like they just kind of kept spawning there, and I think I needed to stopwatch. I wanted to get past. That would tack because there's a part later on in the run, which I'm not going to talk about till we get there. That's also going to have a very prominent theme of the gargoyles are on crack and they just don't stop showing up. Excuse me. It's a shame that they kept the fuzzy things on the platforms coming up here in a moment. I really could have done without these. If I was choosing like things that I would axe to make this game easier, these things would probably be pretty high on the list. Fuck. I just spilled water all over the front of myself. Whatever, who cares? Okay, so actually this is different. In US hard mode, they have spear knights with shields that like will actually try to stab you and take more hits to kill. This time it's just the same old pace back and forth spear, stone, statues, dudes that don't do anything. Oh well, that's just how it is. It's really not an impactful change. They die super fast anyway. I think it would matter a lot more if I was playing this game normally, if I was doing like a Deathless run where I hold onto lightning throughout almost the entire run. If I was actually trying to like fight these guys, then this would matter more. Actually, this is kind of important. Because that guy at the top of the stairs there, the fact that he dies fast is actually pretty relevant. Because otherwise he's a giant pain in the ass. I don't remember if the tower... I guess I'll find out in a second. I shouldn't talk about things that haven't happened yet. But there's a lot to talk about. So here, I think, yeah, these gargoyles are definitely spawning faster. They're spawning on a constant basis. Although they stopped here. Okay, now there's... Oh, okay, that's definitely new. I've never seen that happen. I've never seen a gargoyle spawn out of the left wall there when I'm that close to it. Also, I think there's not any torches down there, so there's no extra lightning for this level. Which is important. Did that fucking knight just die in one lightning? God damn, that seems unusual. I wasn't expecting that. Okay, am I going to stopwatch? Yeah, I'm going to stopwatch through 5C. I think that's the smart thing to do. That's the economical thing to do. No difference between how I would do this in the US version or the JP version. I think the JP version doesn't have the variable. No, that was a faster shot. So the turrets do fire faster on hard mode even in the JP version, but not. But not what? But not what, Shovatar? There is no but not. That's just it. That's the end. Yeah, I feel like I'm trying to watch these lightning orbs and see if they're better or worse at homing in on targets. They seem pretty much what I would expect. This wall looks really purple. Is the wall always this purple? Or is this just like... Or not a wall, what do you call that? The parapets? The tower that I'm in front of. That looks really... I feel like it's not that purple in the US version. Maybe I'm wrong. It's been a long time. That guy throws low so I don't get hit. That was nice of him. And the terrain in this Frankenstein boss room is slightly different. He walks through the wall. I don't think there's any... Oh, look at that! See, that's what I was talking about all the time in my Castlevania 3 videos. That's the lightning shotgun blast, where if you stand at the right distance, you can shoot 3 lightning orbs that all hit him at the same time, and he just gets fucking melted. Yeah, I tried to do that like multiple times in my US 3 commentaries, but none of the successful attempts were ones where I ever got it to work. But this time I got it to work, so good for me. 6. Okay, so level 6 is actually a place where level 6 is pretty much actually I think it's harder actually in the JP version because I think the boss is harder, but the big takeaway is that nothing is easier. Like 6B isn't any easier. The fishmen don't stop from spawning. They have absolutely no chill. They just keep coming like they do in the US version, and then 6C, which is the big problem, is also not nerfed at all, or at least not that I can remember. I might be wrong, but I'll see. I feel like this is actually worse. I feel like I don't usually see. I feel like they're spawning more. I feel like I don't usually see this many fishmen spawning as fast as they are here. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I feel like this is worse. Okay. Stop jumping, Shovatar. How many times do you have to learn this lesson? Never. Oh, you jump once in 6B. You never jump twice. And even then, you only do it after you just kill. Okay, yeah. Now I've remembered. This is kind of insane. Okay, yeah. All right, good. That's funny. I like ducked. I was about to like try to duck underneath the fireball because I forgot that you can't do that. But I remembered at the last second and I stood up again and I whipped the fireball. Oh, I still have the stopwatch. Okay, I forgot that I had that. That's good. That's good to have here. That axe is not usually there. That's new. Not relevant really, but just something that I wanted to mention. Yeah, the sub-weapon availability is slightly different in Densetsu, but it was never different in a way that was helpful. It was only ever different in a way that was annoying, like no lightning on 5C. Meant that if I accidentally lost lightning prior to that point, I couldn't get it back again. Okay. Okay, did the turrets always die in 2 lightning balls? I feel like the turrets are dying faster. I don't remember. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't remember. Anyway, I guess maybe I should have looked up the the US 3 footage to make sure, but I didn't. This is a pretty good 6C. I pretty much did exactly what I learned to do over many painful experiences in the past, which is to just only shoot lightning if a bat is on the screen and just use the lightning shots at the bat. Like have the lightnings that you shoot to kill the bats, pull double duty and kill whatever else is in front of you. And that way you just always have control over what's going on. You never get caught with a bat coming at you and you don't have lightning ready. Yeah, look at this. I remember. It's like riding a bike. Do I get fucking... Okay, good. I was gonna see. I was wondering if a bat was gonna come out of the door, as they are sometimes wont to do, but no. That time it was normal, and I don't remember if this part is different or not. In Densetsu. I wonder what I'm gonna do here, because if I had Grant, I would just freeze time. Oh wow, okay. See, that's crazy. That lightning orb just flew in a straight line. Huh. It passed by 2 different potential targets and just flew in a straight line. I don't know if that would happen in 3. I feel like in 3 it would try to like angle towards something. Why am I Syfa right now? I hope I'm gonna swap soon, because there's no reason to be doing like fucking around with these guys like this. I mean, I turned into Syfa so I could shoot lightnings to, like, control the bottom of the screen as I was jumping across the gaps, but that's not really necessary anymore. Yeah, now I have enough hearts to use the stopwatch. I can just bypass them. And now I'm hoping I have enough hearts to kill the boss. Okay, so the level 6 boss is different. The level 6 boss is different in that, in 2 ways. Number 1, it has the same pattern every time, which is how I know to jump over to the platform on the right there. That alone makes it easier. The only thing that was weird for me to adjust to is that, as you can see, when it shoots fire, it shoots the fire, like, diagonally. So things that were safe spots before were not safe spots, and are not safe spots anymore. And they also the sprite when their mouth is open is kind of goofy looking. I think I can see why they changed that. So that was pretty easy. Obviously not a problem with Syfa has lightning, but spoiler alert, I do have other runs of this game that I recorded in which it was not that easy. Yeah. That's not normal. I feel like I've never seen a stopwatch drop there before. Do I take the holy water here? I do. Interesting. Okay. I'm not sure. Oh, I know why. Yeah, I know why. Okay, I'll have to talk about. So the bosses in Densetsu are nerfed compared to their US incarnations, mostly. The big difference, honestly, is the mummy, because the fact that the mummy's projectiles, you barely saw it in the level 4 monster mash, so I'll just explain it if you didn't quite see what the difference was. In US Castlevania 3, the mummy's projectiles go in this oscillating motion. They kind of like zigzag up and down, and that makes it almost impossible to dodge. But the mummies in Densetsu will shoot their wrappings straight ahead, where either high or low, so you can either duck under them or jump over them, and you can whip them, and you know exactly where they're going to be because they're flying in these nice, easy, beautiful horizontal lines. So it's instead of it just being the game randomly damaging you, it's like an actual mechanic that you can react to, and that has like a correct solution. That was funny. That thing was about to catch up with me. And then of course the Cyclops. I mean, the Cyclops is easier too, but the Cyclops being easier is mostly just a convenience thing. The fact that the mummy's projectiles behave differently is like a gigantic nerf. And a welcome one, quite frankly. But the exception is the demon, the third boss in the Monster Mash. The demon in JP Castlevania 3 is like on... I feel like I say on crack a lot, so I'm gonna say that he's on meth instead. That's like the drug of hell, the drug of demons, right? That torch is inside that block. That's not like that in the US version. I remember that. And there's something that's going to come up here in a second that I'm going to start explaining now because it'll take a second. So coming up here in the next room, up this next set, not these stairs, but a set of stairs that you can't see. The next screen that I'm going to go to contains the infamous 7B jump. It's a very tight jump across a gap onto a tilting platform that tilts back and forth depending on where you're standing on it. And during my attempts, the platform would sometimes not spawn. So what just happened there, the reason there was that little break, is because I stopped and made a save state there to reload in case the tilty platform didn't spawn. Because there's lots of things that I'm willing to tolerate in terms of like losing a run to something. I'm not willing to lose a run because the game glitched and didn't spawn the platform. Fortunately, the game spawned the platform, so it was all fine. But nonetheless, I made the save state anyway, so nevertheless, the break in the video is still there. And I mean, I'll say what I said in my Chronicles review. God damn it. God damn it. Oh. Fuck, I'm the nostalgia critic. I'll say what I said in my Chronicles commentary, which is, I mean, I hope you guys trust me at this point. I think I've proven at this point that I'm capable of playing Castlevania 3. The sky is pink. That is not purple, that is fucking pink. Yeah, 7B jump. That's what that little break was all about. And now we're coming up to the big monster mash, and you're gonna see what I mean when I talk about the demon being on PCP. The demon also looks different. It kind of looks, well, you'll see. There's no point in me talking about it before it happens. But the demon is the reason I picked up the holy water, because lightning, of course, is going to shred the mummies, and it's going to shred the Cyclops, but with the demon, it's going to be jumping around. I'm going to want to kill that fucker as quickly as I possibly can, and I don't want to get close enough to it to try to do a lightning shotgun blast. So that means holy water. It means holy water, triple shot, spam the whip, kill that bitch as quickly as I possibly can. Is that offensive? I don't know. I really don't care. Okay, so I'm interested to see how these higher platforms affect the Cyclops' behavior. Okay, so he charges. I don't know why he charged exactly, but oh shit. Okay, that's actually bad because Because I want to be full health when the demon comes out. Yes, I'm serious. That's how scary this fucker is. Where I don't even want to... I want to go into it with full health. And you'll notice that the holy water there looks like the Simon's Quest holy water. This guy's... And also you might notice this guy's jumping way more than he was before. Fortunately, his fireball attack is like a joke. But he's way more... But the trade-off is that he's way more aggressive with his jumps. And he'll also like jump farther than the US demon will. The US demon seems like he always jumps a set distance. With this guy, it's like sometimes he'll jump close and sometimes he'll jump like long, so you don't know how far away you are before you're safe. So that guy's pretty fucking scary. But the trade-off is that he doesn't have the almost undodgeable fireball attack the way the US guy does. Still, I would rather fight the US one because he's more predictable at least. He's slower. I'm taking 3 damage. This is pathetic. I'm sorry. I don't know. Like, if I'm on level 8, come on, do 4 damage to me already. Like, I don't want to sound like a masochist, but come the fuck on. This is level 8. I can take I can take it. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna I'm taking 3 damage on Castlevania 3 hard mode is like is anathema to me. It's like the stars being out of sync, out of where there's not so it's like the stars not being where they're supposed to be. I'm sure there was no way you guys could have guessed that that's what I meant unless I specified that. This part's the same. That heart is still there. I want to say, is this room different at all? I don't remember. I think I would remember if it was. I think mostly 8 is the same. Yeah, this is the same. That fucking lightning orb just like he swerved right around the little blob. That's funny. So the home stretch of Densetsu is more or less the same as the home stretch of US Dracula's Curse. The difference, that's what is that guy doing? What the fuck? I don't remember that happening. Did you guys see that? That red skeleton was like he was like a pile of bones sliding on the ground, and then he started like wave dashing in place as he like stood back up. That's really funny. I'm gonna isolate that clip and I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to like maybe I'll do like an instant replay of that, which I should have done actually with the infamous Grant footage where the guy jumps in the hole and turns into an eyeball. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out my Grant only run, Castlevania 3. There's a point in level 8 where a guy jumps in a hole and turns into an eyeball. It's pretty neat, and I'm not fucking with you. Is the game gonna slow down here like it does on the NES version? No, look at that. Good, nice going, Japan. In the American version, it always slows down there, but here on the Famicom, I guess not. I'm actually surprised by that. Grim Reaper fight's the same. This actually took some learning. I will say most of this game was like riding a bike where I just remembered what to do, but getting the timing down for that Holy Water Stunlock actually was pretty hard. There were a couple of times where I just straight up died to this guy because I didn't get the Stunlock done in time. Because it is kind of a specific timing, because you have to like, if you wait too long, then he won't be on the floor when you need him to be, and if you go too early, then the scythes will spawn around you and you won't be able to drop the holy water on him the way that you want. So that actually is pretty tricky. So here we are on level 9. And level 9 is in Densetsu is like level 9 in 3 in that there's a big difficulty spike, but the difficulty spike is different. In, well actually no, level 9 is actually harder in Densetsu. So the big problem in level 9 in US 3 was always 9-4. And look at that, 3 damage? Come on, man, it's level 9. Fucking hit me. It was always 9-4. 9-2 was also a problem, but going into 9-2 with Syfa with lightning made it basically a non-issue. 9-2 in Densetsu is buffed to shit. Because the gargoyles are just... I'm just gonna say it again, the gargoyles are on crack in 9.2. They just keep fucking showing up and they never stop. The game wants there to always be a gargoyle on the screen. Oh, and this is pretty funny. So, after spending a million years jumping into the spikes on the bottom of this platform, I finally realized that this is what you're supposed to do the whole time. Because what I was doing before was doing this like awkward, like specific timing jump, where I tried to jump across the gap as the spikes were going up without bonking my forehead into the spikes, but I guess what you're supposed to do the whole time is jump on the platform above the spikes, and I never really figured that out. So yeah, that's crazy. If you haven't seen the US Castlevania 3 9.2 footage, you're not going to understand how insane what you're watching is right now. But the fact these gargoyles are coming back on the screen after like 1 second, that they're respawning fucking instantly, is just insane. That's ridiculous. The one lightning orb killed 2 gargoyles. So the consequence of this... God damn, that fucking hits me? This is so annoying. The consequence of this is that you kind of have to adopt a protocol that's similar to the 6C bat protocol, where it's like you don't shoot lightning if there's no bats on the screen. Here it's like you don't shoot lightning if there's no gargoyles on the screen. If there's no gargoyles on the screen, you do not shoot lightning. You need to have lightning ready for when the gargoyles show up. And now I'm down to fucking 6 hearts when I have to fight this guy. I wonder if I even use... I think I want to try to fight this guy without using any hearts. No, I have to use holy water. Yep, that's smarter. That's smarter. Good job. Should never try to fight that guy without some kind of sub-weapon, in my opinion. Actually, if I sat at the top of the stairs, maybe I could have done something, but I think he might have been able to back up too far. I don't really remember. Point is, I got through it. That took some learning. I had to drill 9.2. I had to relearn 9.2 all over again. And that was especially bitter for me because one of the things that I was the most proud of in the culmination of all my playing of Castlevania 3 was like how good my 9.2 was by the very end. Like if you watch my Alucard hard mode 1cc, my 9.2 is like perfect. But there it's like, now it's not... There's no... Now it's just like it's just a constant barrage of gargoyles coming at you. And there's no like rhythm to it at all. Which is honestly pretty annoying. It makes it feel like... You know what it feels like? It makes it feel like the game wants you to treat the gargoyles more like a hazard that you have to avoid, instead of a, instead of occasional enemies that you have to kill. It makes it... It's kind of like... It's like they want you to memorize where the gargoyles are going to hit you, and just don't be where they are, but that's kind of fucking absurd in my opinion. Especially, like, with these stairs. You know what I mean? Because with the stairs are involved, you just have so little control over where you are. It just always makes more sense to kill them and then move forward safely. But the window to move forward after they're dead and before another one spawns is just so fucking minuscule. And I actually don't remember how I did that in my Alucard hard mode video, because I have another video, Densetsu video, where it's the Alucard route, and I mean I have to do 9.2 again. Every route of this game takes you through 9.2. I don't know how the fuck I do it without lightning. I think I use the axe. Maybe I use the axe. Oh Christ. Okay, good. The fire tome landed on the stairs, so I didn't accidentally pick it up. Because now after 9.2, now you have to do 9.4, and 9.4 is not any easier. Actually, you know what? That's not true, because you know what's not in the second half of 9.4? The skulls. There's no RNG skulls in 9.4, so actually 9.4 is easier in Densetsu. But I would classify that, honestly, as a minor problem. The biggest problem with 9.4 is always this room. The skulls are the skulls. Like, if they hit you, they hit you. It's just one of those things. But this fucking room is... Like, I have died to this room 5 times more than I've died to the skull gauntlet that comes right after it. My Akama Deathless video is kind of the big exception to that, where I got through this room like perfectly and then the skulls almost killed me, but generally speaking it's the other way around. Generally speaking, I will just die here. And the skulls might like hit me once or twice. So the fact that the skulls are gone sounds like a huge deal, and it seems like it feels like it should be a bigger deal than it is. because you're taking out this this RNG wall before the end of the game, but in practice it's not that big of a deal. I think the doppelganger's dumber. I can't tell, because this is pretty much what's supposed to happen anyway. You'll notice that the terrain in this room is slightly different. There's a reason for that, but I'm not going to talk about that in this video. I'm going to talk about that in the next video, the next Densetsu video that I post, because in that video, you will see why it was changed in the US version. And what the problem with that little gap underneath the middle of the middle of the arena is. And if you're sharp, you might have already guessed what the problem is. Okay, so this is different. You'll notice that I spawned with 0 hearts. I don't know why that is. Normally, you're supposed to spawn with 5, but for some reason on level A, in Densetsu, you spawn with 0, and that seems like almost like a mistake. Because it's either a mistake or it's an intentional... it's an intentional design choice, and holy shit, lag! Yeah, no skulls in Densetsu A1, which is, of course, a huge... I mean, the skulls here are much, much worse than the skulls in 9.4. So there's no skulls in A. The trade-off is that the Medusa heads spawn more aggressively than the skulls do. I still would say this is easier just because the Medusa heads are so much more manageable than the skulls are. Just the simple fact that they have shallower wave motions than the skulls just makes them easier, because it means you can get under them or get over them way faster than the skulls. Like even if you just ignore the skulls, the randomness in the skulls, the simple fact that they have much higher peaks than the Medusa heads means that they are relevant for longer in a stage like that where you're constantly scrolling downwards. Okay, those turrets, I swear to god those turrets didn't die in 2 lightning orbs before. I swear to god they got nerfed. Or maybe lightning got buffed? I can't remember. I'm pretty sure I'm right, though. And, I don't get the meat. I don't get the holy water in the torch over there, because I think this is gonna be a thing where I just kill Dracula only with lightning. Well, no, I'm gonna have to fight Dracula with the whip in Phase 1, but with lightning Phase 2, and look at this! I want you guys to watch this, especially... Okay, if you watch my Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse US version videos, do you notice anything missing from this little stage here so far? Do you notice anything that's, like, not present as I'm doing these jumps across the pendulums? If you're not familiar, I'll tell you, there's supposed to be bats here. There's supposed to be bats here, flying at you as you do these jumps. But in the JP version, they're simply not here. That means those fuckers, those Yankee fuckers who localized the game added that shit to A2, the real final boss, the A2 bat forming. That's a United States invention. The worst United States invention since Agent Orange. I have described... I mean, did I say... I might have just said this, but I've described those as the real final boss before, and they're just not here anymore. Now, speaking of the final boss, I will say this. Of the bosses that are not nerfed, Phase 1 of Dracula is actually way worse in the JP version. You'll notice, first of all, that he's doing all of this shit way faster than he does in the US version. Normally, there's much more time between him summoning the first 2 fire pillars and the third one, and normally he doesn't do what he's about to do here, which is, if I hadn't gotten hit, which is he's literally cornering me. Like, there's nothing I can do there. Fortunately, he's only doing 2 damage per shot. I think the fire pillar only did 2, and then he hit me again, and now I'm only taking 4 damage, so I think he's only doing 2 damage there, which is pretty wimpy, honestly, but... Either way, the point is the Phase 1 of Dracula in the JP version is actually way, way worse, because he'll just fucking phase into you, and he'll just shoot fire all the time, and this guy fucking died in 2 seconds. And actually, Phase 3 is kind of harder too, because, I don't know, it's harder to do the juke, the like back and forth corner juke that I always used to do with this guy in US Dracula's Curse. I think it has to do with the angle that these weird projectiles shoot at, because these projectiles are different for one thing. The projectiles in the US version are longer and look more dangerous, but for some reason the angle that he shoots these at makes them harder to dodge. I don't know, it's hard to describe. Another thing that's worth noting that I think will probably become apparent as this footage crawls towards the finish line is that the lightning orbs are definitely dumber here. Lightning orbs here seem like they are uniquely interested in orbiting around the platforms and don't seem to notice at all that there's a big giant chicken man in the middle of the screen that I'd really like them to hit. So we're going to be here for a little while. The orbs are pretty dopey in the US Castlevania 3-2 when it comes to the Dracula fight, but I swear to God they're better than these. I feel like these won't even, like... If there's not a platform near Dracula, they just won't even care. They won't even go anywhere near him. They only want to just hit platforms. I guess maybe the juke isn't harder, because it seems like I'm executing it pretty much fine here. Maybe it's harder to do with the axe, like it's harder to get into a good position with the axe to hit this guy, because this seems pretty much fine. I mean, this is terrible because it's just taking so long, because the orbs are so dumb, but, there we go, Jesus Christ. But in terms of avoiding damage, I was doing just fine, so maybe it is just avoiding damage while throwing the axe that's the problem. Do I get it? Get it! Yes, alright. I get the action shot. Perfect. There's my lightsaber. So that's Akumajou Densetsu. Cypher route. No deaths. 1 of 3 videos I'm going to be posting. I'm not going to go crazy. I'm not going to post fucking 10 Castlevania 3 videos the way I did before. Look at that flickering shit, man. That's new. And, wish I could tell you what's going on here, but I can't. I know what sounds these little characters represent. I don't know what the sounds in their totality are meant to convey in terms of information. I will say that there's some katakana in there referring to rarufu, and katakana is used to it usually is used to denote, like, it's used for like foreign words, which is why it's unusual to see in a sea of hiragana like this. Well, not necessarily unusual, but it stands out. I notice it, and so usually that means names. Like if you like it'll say like Dracula in there. It'll write that out in katakana because Dracula is like a European name. It's like a foreign name. So there was katakana in there that read Rarufu, and I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Who? What is that even supposed to like represent? What name is that? And it turns out that in Akumajou Densetsu, Trevor is named Ralph. Trevor is named Ralph Belmondo. Maybe just Belmont? I guess we're going to find out. There he is, Grant McNasty, who you're going to be seeing more of soon. Keep your eyes peeled for that. But yeah, so Trevor is named Ralph in this game. And I read something interesting the other day about this game in relation to Castlevania the Adventure, because I think Castlevania the Adventure came out the same year as this, like slightly before this, and there was some confusion in the original translation over whether or not Christopher Belmont and Trevor Belmont were the same character or not. I don't know how exactly that works, but yeah, Ralph Belmond. So, not Belmondo and not Belmont. So, halfway in between. Anyway, obviously they're different characters. Be weird if the same character had beat Dracula 3 times. Anyway, new videos coming up soon. It's going to be a Grant-only run, done legitimately this time. No splicing, no segmenting. Keep your eyes peeled. Grant McNasty back again.